Hey, there we go. Good morning. It is April 19th, 2018. My name is Jeff Fritz, and welcome back to my live coding stream. I like to call it Fritz and Friends. It's a quick day for me here today. I'm only here at home for a few more hours, and then I'm hitting the road, traveling to Knoxville for the Codestock Conference. I'll be giving a presentation there tomorrow on Advanced ASP.NET Core. I'm going to cover configuration, Docker deployment, a couple different things there that I've shared a little bit of here on stream, but I'm going to really dig into some of the more advanced things you can do with ASP.NET Core. Good morning, folks in the chat room. Aspiring DevOps Guru. There's Shane. Good morning, Shane. And Welsh Ronaldo. Good morning. I need to tune my settings there. This is a new chat room widget that I'm using now. I'm using this from streamlabs.com. I want to make sure that I've got a full list of chat that appears there. And you can see I'm on my blue screen today because I've got the green shirt. Green shirt on green screen. Not so much. It kind of disappears. So, let's see. What do we have going on here? And I see folks chatting, and the Twitch bot stopped again. Oh, Fierce Kittens, it stopped again. Just when you think you have it working, it breaks. It breaks. Yeah, I'm not getting messages again. You kill me, Twitch IRC. You really, really do. You know what, I'm going to turn on always show messages here so we always get the content appearing. There we go. Hey everyone. Yes, this is not quite a new hat. I've had this hat for a few weeks, but I wanted to make sure I wore it today. I'm a big comic book fan, particularly Thor, and if you've been reading Marvel's Thor comics, you know that right now Thor isn't Odin's son. 45-second delay today. In the comics right now, Thor, the god of thunder, isn't actually the son of Odin. It's actually Jane Foster. And in the comics, Jane's been dealing with cancer, and when she picks up Mjolnir, cancer goes away. She's a god at that point, and her body rejects all of the chemotherapy she's been going under. But this past week, Jane finally met her demise, and they killed off the current Thor. I had been reading this comic with my daughters, and they really, really enjoyed seeing a lady Thor, and it was a great storyline for the past, 3-4 years, maybe even 5 years. I don't know how long. We really enjoyed it. I'm sad to see it go, to see her go. But she passed. There's a couple more issues, it looks like, but alas, Lady Thor is no more. Screen Rant here saying Thor finally dies. It's like they were looking forward to the passing of the character. Like, come on, really? So, little disappointed there. Hello there, J1859 and Wiggy Dave. Good afternoon. You'll see I've started. I'm changing the layout slightly here. I've got a new chat box over on the side. I've got some new things happening down on the bottom. Next to me, look at this. I'm in the Matrix now. I've got my Matrix background back there behind me. Isaac says, Iron Man about to die at the end of the month in Infinity War. Calling it now. We'll see. Or is he going to step back and become a background bit player going forward? Tony Stark disappearing from the Marvel universes is a big change. He's been out of the comics for a few months as well. So we'll see if that happens, if that sticks. So there you go. There's your comic bit of the day. Today's music, this is called Purple. This is another song from our friend Carl Franklin and his Music to Code By album. this was released originally in 2015. You can, of course, get all of the Music to Code By songs from mtcb.twop.com, or you can get the app, Music to Flow By. You can check that out at musictoflowby.com, and there's a whole collection of new songs that Carl is releasing once a month. I haven't caught up. I haven't renewed my subscription on Music to Flow By, the app. I need to get back in there and do that. I'm restarting the bot over here, see if we can get it connected and back in the chat room. Our friend Bill Wagner is suggesting that I need to talk about span of T and related features from 7.2 and 7.3. And you know what? I think I'm going to be waiting and talking about that with one of our guests at Build. Magnus, is that the new keyboard I hear? Sounds so satisfying now. Yes. So my new keyboard, for those of you who haven't seen it, look at that. And I've got the green screen ripping out some of the keys. Actually, it's blue screen now. Let's go over to the full size so you can see this. There you go. So the green screen's kind of hiding some of those keys from you. Yeah, that's my new keyboard. I'm actually in the middle of writing a blog post on this. It's pretty thick. Look at that. Right? I've got a bunch of pictures of it, and I realized I hadn't used a full desktop external keyboard in years. Literally 5-6 years, because I've always had my hands in a laptop over that time. And to have a removable keyboard that I can move, I can put in my lap if I'd like. I can connect up to various machines. Oh, so good. I miss it. And I'm really happy to be back in the mix with a regular keyboard. That would drive me nuts. No. There is something definitely satisfying about being able to feel and hear that click-clack, click-clack of the keyboard versus the very little travel that you get, whether it's a Mac keyboard, a Surface Book keyboard, or my Yoga keyboard. Being able to actually feel that keyboard travel really means something. And I enjoy it. So, a couple different things that I want to do here today. Thank you to you, to you, our viewers, our pair programmers. I have a ton of pull requests, issues to review in our projects that we've been working on. J1859 says, at old MVC, we used to have HTML anti-forgery token. What's the equivalent in .NET Core? Still there. Anti-forgery token is still available for you in ASP.NET Core. So take a look at that. You know what? I missed saying good morning to Welsh Ronaldo up there. Good morning, Welsh Ronaldo. If you're Welsh, are you in Wales or are you here in the States? If you're saying good morning, I'm guessing you're in the States and not in Wales, because Wales, it's more like middle of the afternoon. Let me know. So we've got a bunch of issues, and we've got a handful of pull requests here for Core Wiki that we can take a look at. Same syntax. I thought all the HTML stuff was gotten rid of. No, it's still there. Let's take a look and answer J1859's question real quick. Let's see. Oh, look at that. My other machine went to sleep on me. Let's log back in. So let's show you here. This is an ASP.NET Core project. This is my Stream Tools project. We're gonna look at this a little bit later. You know what? I'll even do this in Core Wiki because that's where we're working right now. So I'll just change projects over here, and let's just bring up any old Razor page because I can. And right, I can always use @HTML dot. Show me my completion. There it is. Anti-forgery token. So go ahead and use that, and you'll be in great shape there, 1859. Or is it, should I just call you Jay? Jay. Let's go with Jay. Jay sounds good. Welsh Ronaldo. I'm in London, but from Wales originally. There you go. That's terrific. And the Fritzbot fell asleep again. Oh, that makes me feel terrible. We'll have to get back into that. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to take a look at our issues that were open, that were created for us. I'm going to go back into Firefox because I like Firefox. There we go. All right. Good. We'll agree on J. Let's go back over to GitHub. We'll use Firefox over here. I have a couple of projects available you can check out right up at the top here. We'll start in Core Wiki and we'll go over to Stream Tools and take a look there. Yeah, I think you guys are going to be pretty happy when you see who we have as a guest when we get to build. Actually, I'm trying to get another guest lined up and I haven't heard a response from them. I need to work on that. All right, so our pull requests. Check this out. SMAB has a couple of fixes for us here. A DevOps challenge has, looks like the comments feature, just about ready to go. Magnus, when is build? The build conference. So this is Microsoft's build conference for developers where we're going to announce new features, new tools, new frameworks, new capabilities for many of our products. I don't want to say all, many of our products. Because somebody inevitably is going to say, you didn't announce a feature for Microsoft Bob. No, we're not going to announce features about Microsoft Bob. I can tell you that. So what we've done is, the build conference, I'm sorry, is in better part of 2 weeks now. No, 2.5 weeks. It's May 7, 8, and 9. Good morning. Oh, Meat Popsicle. Did I miss something? Why is Jeff in the Matrix? No, I'm in the Matrix. Look, you can even see, right? The Matrix is scrolling by. Buoyant Air. Thanks so much for the follow. I think you spelled buoyant wrong, though. Whatever works. Licensing for Microsoft Bob stinks anyway. All right, I'll take your word on that. It's like Christmas in May. If you observe that, absolutely. I do, so I can agree with calling it Christmas in May. Other folks might call it a different, but yes. GDC is in May also. There was a GDC last month. Is there another GDC? Right. When is GDC? Games Developers Conference, March 19 to 23. You were saying it was last month. 2 months ago. No, last month. All right, so let's start down here with fix layout. Let's take a look at what this pull request is. Updates layout as it only appears to have half of the required automation changes in it. Library files are referencing the wrong CDN versions and/or not pointing to www.root.lib properly. Uh-oh. Let's take a look at what changed in here. So this is our friend Simon, who goes by, you'll see him out there as Smab. Google Dev, yes. Google I.O. is the same month, is in May. Let's see. So we're missing a reference to Popper. Okay. A little bit of formatting. There's Popper being added in there. Bootstrap, Sitemin. All right. This looks pretty harmless to just accept. So I'm going to do that. Let this get merged into our project here. And I will allow that to just come in. Hey there, Franklin. Good to see you. All right. One down. What's the next one? Pager tag helper update. So Smab says uses the tag builder and use the tag builder class when making the HTML nodes. Now, let's explain. Shane's suggesting we talk about libman. Yeah, we can talk about libman. I started talking about it briefly. I feel like the tooling is a little bit incomplete. We can take a look at libman here. So this is an let's let me go through and talk about the tag helper here, and then we'll come back and talk about libman. Libman is a nice tool. I'm seeing a couple different points of view about libman right now, but we'll talk about that. Ah, come on now. There we go. Let's open my command prompt, and this is core wiki. Go over to PowerShell, so I can run posh git and see quickly and easily what's going on here. Let's do my git pull. There's my changes to page layout. When Mads showed it at Build last year, I was very excited. Libman was originally called Pacman because it was a package manager that we were adding into Visual Studio. Let me come to that in a few seconds. I want to look at this pull request about tag helpers. I want to take a look at this first. I can't tell what that emote is. R2, what is that? The CLR fairy? All right, I'll take that. So for those of you who don't know, who haven't seen ASP.NET Core, a tag helper is effectively a server-side directive that will allow you to replace the contents of an HTML tag on the server side with different content. Now, when I wrote this tag helper to generate a pager on our pages, right, it just does the page 1, page 2, page 3 numbers that we generate, I put together just a simple string concatenation, just append HTML, set attributes to output this. There's another technique you can use by using an object called the tag builder. And Simon has some changes here to make it a little bit easier to generate this and show that here inside of our tag helper class. So let me merge this on the command line so we can take a look at exactly how this is being used before we go ahead and merge on the actual source code itself. So you can see I'm doing set attribute, add attributes, append HTML, and when we change and use tag builder now we're saying new tag builder, and here's the tag to use, add CSS classes to that, and then merged the attributes that are already out there. I had to do a funny if statement to merge attributes together. And then he's just doing a for loop over the total number of pages and creating actually child tag builders and jamming the contents onto the parent one. Now, the interesting one that I was kind of fighting with was this one, generate page link. So I was actually building the URL route directly. Well, he's using now the HTML generator that comes from ASP.NET Core. And with that generator, he's able to specify all of the link information and use a simple other tag helper actually to generate the page link over to those pages. So if I run this project now, I should see the exact same content with my pager here on here in the browser. So let's take a look at what this looks like to verify that it still works, and then we'll merge and shift these along. Thank you for the follow, R2AU. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to have to change that blue because that blue in Steve's greeting there kind of disappears. So that looks right, but now, all right, we've got a page size over here. This doesn't look quite right. You know? And if I change it over to 2, I get that's not working right either. So we've got a couple problems here with how this is implemented. It doesn't While I appreciate the page size selector over here, it's not remembering the page size when I go from page to page. Let's see if we did update the all page here, but it's right somewhere page size is being passed along, but it's not being remembered. And that's going to be a little bit annoying. Where is the page size? Where are you putting that on there? Let's see if we can find it real quick. Let's see. On post, await fetch articles. Okay, so we've broken out the get of the content. Over here. What is that? What is pages all? There's the pager. So there's how my pager is being referenced, and then here's the form that's allowing you to specify the page size. But that's doing a post back, and it gets forgotten when you go to the next page. Right, page size isn't in the tag where it's being passed along, but the page size gets forgotten. Oh wow, Alano name? Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Right, so if that page size, right, and it's a constant here. So on post, fetch articles. Let's see here. And page size is being bound up here. So we're kind of losing, not just kind of, we're losing that reference as we go from page to page. So we effectively need to remember that as we page around. What's a good way to do that? And you know what? I don't want to spend a lot of time going through this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to merge this yet. I'm going to put a note on this that it forgets the page size, and we'll come back and merge it later. The code as it is right now forgets the... no, the fetch isn't failing. The fetch works. It's not remembering the page size. When you navigate from page to page. All right. No, when you change the page size to 2, it doesn't remember it when you go to the next page. So we go all articles. So right now it's saying there's 5 articles, so there's only 1 page. If I change the page size to 2, right, and we need to do something about that. So I've got 3 pages. If I say show me page 3, it shows me nothing, and it flips back to a page size of 5. So it's not remembering the page size when I navigate. So we need to fix that, but I want to make sure I get to some of the other content that we have here. So for right now, I'm going to table that change and go back over to my project. All right, so we'll come back to this. Implement comments feature from DevOps challenge. Okay, user can submit initial ideas for implementation. Yes, okay. A comment is independent of article version. When a comment is added to an article, it is displayed in all versions. Okay. When a user is identified, depends on authentication feature, the name must be automatically obtained from the login context. Yes. When user isn't identified, the name must be manually filled. Not sure I like that. Captcha is mandatory. Okay. Display is mandatory and must have max 100 characters. Email is mandatory. Submitted is mandatory. Text, okay. So I'm okay with some of these requirements. I think you need to be signed in to leave a comment. I would take the tag helper or ignore the last commit. I want to take everything, so let's come back to that. But I want to make sure that we got that we take a look at some of the other pull requests that are out there. Technical questions: use tag helpers, partial views, or view components. Good question. I can go either way. I can use any of those. Part of me would like to use for comments. Part of me would like to use view components for that. Comments list allow users to see the list of comments for an article. Sure. Allow users to add new comments to an article. Sure. Okay. Impacted pages, details, edit. You know what? I don't think we need to have the list of comments when you're editing an article. I don't think this is a pull request. Are there any files that come along with this? 19 files, but I think all of these are my commits. Yeah, this is an issue. I don't see actual content for this. Not finished yet. Okay. Gotcha. So here's what I'm going to do then. Let's put a label on this. Great to see you, Evandro. I'm going to mark this as an enhancement. And let's add another label here. Let's create a new label here called incomplete. And let's give it sure, we'll give it that label. Okay, and then we'll put the incomplete on it yet. And this is an enhancement. Stop it. Labels. Enhancement. Terrific. All right. Magnus asks, what's a view component? Is that new to ASP.NET Core? Yes, a view component is new to ASP.NET Core. It's a little bit more than a partial view. If you're familiar with partial views from MVC, a partial view is just a piece of Razor markup. The view component has a little bit of code that goes behind it, almost like a controller, like an action method that you can run. I've done view components in a few other streams. We'll definitely hit it when we take a look at comments. Add search engine friendly URLs. This other one, update README, include latest streams. Let's take a look at what was added here. Okay, I think that's all right. Thank you very much for maintaining the README here. That looks, I'm good with that. So it's up here. I want to go to conversation. Sure, let's merge. Thank you. Merging. Thank you very much for maintaining the README. Terrific. All right. Now, before I take a look at the last one here, add search engine friendly URLs, there were comments about libman. And what is libman? As you can see, I have the preview version for Visual Studio 2017 installed. This is also the enterprise version, but what I'm about to show you isn't an enterprise-specific feature. This is called libman or library manager. Banifest says they have a very narrow focus for libman. Interested to know what features you think is needed. Well, let's talk about that. if you've followed JavaScript development, Node.js development for the past few years, you know that JavaScript packages and package managers have changed quickly. Some would say obnoxiously quickly. Because 3-4 years ago, you got to use Bower. Bower is where we're getting all of our content from. It's amazing. It's terrific. So Microsoft, we built a Bower integration. You could integrate with Bower. It was amazing. And Bower was just a front end for people getting content from GitHub. I mean, really, when you look at what's coming out of the Bower package manager, it was really Bower held a catalog of links to folks' GitHub repositories. You could say just Git repositories, but it was primarily GitHub. And Bower was originally created by the folks at Twitter, and it was nice. It did a nice job. Folks liked it. And NPM became the new hotness because NPM, you could put scripts in there, you could wire things up, it gets stored, and it works great with Node. And it's the Node package manager. You go to npmjs.org, and you can get stuff out of NPM, and you can write it down, script things, and wire in different commands in there so that you can wire up. And you have this wonderful package JSON file that you can define your dependencies, things I want to ship with my Node project, my Node package. And I can have development dependencies. I can have dependencies that only go in development mode. Things like grunt and gulp, those task managers that I can use to execute little tasks outside of the additional scripts like this one that I want to execute here. And it's nice. And people went with that for a while, building scripts and things. And the folks at Facebook said, we can do better than that. And they wrote a tool that runs in front of the npm.js repository called Yarn. Yes, Yarn is the new hotness. And that was about a year ago, and folks said, we love Yarn. It's great, it's fast, it resolves things so much faster than npm.js. It's open source, it's from Facebook, and if Facebook wrote it, it has to be good. But here we are now on our third package manager client in 3 years. And tool vendors like Microsoft, quite frankly, are getting annoyed that nobody can settle on the exact same thing. And to make things even worse, the folks at npm.js saw the source code that was in Yarn, and they've integrated and improved the performance of npm.js to handle some of the things that Yarn does better. So now npm is pretty good. But Yarn is still out there, and that's pretty good too. And then we've also got things like the JavaScript CDN and the JSPM out there that knows how to read from all the different sources. And NPM really is just another interface in front of GitHub. Right? When we look at npmjs.org and you look at the packages that folks submit up here, let's just find Jquery because it's simple and easy and everybody knows it. There's Jquery. And when you look at the package, all it's doing is getting from GitHub. That's all it does. When you install the package, it downloads the contents of people's GitHub. Really? npm.js doesn't actually hold anything. It redirects over to GitHub and you download it from there. Do we really need all of these clients running around and giving you literally I have to look at my keyboard still a little bit because I'm not used to where the keys are. Literally, when you install the Jquery package, you get everything that comes inside of the dist folder. It goes out and it brings down all of that stuff. npm.js holds a catalog, and you end up effectively getting what's in somebody's GitHub repository. So do we really need to do all of this and juggle around and come back and get stuff from the latest source of truth every time? It doesn't get the compiled code. So you're telling me NPM has true repositories unlike Bower. And then there's Chocolatey. Yes, Software engineer, yes. When you do npm publish, it holds the dist at that moment. Okay, my mistake. I stand corrected. So the problem that tool vendors like Microsoft, who are trying to provide something that's supportable for all of their folks, is we can't keep deploying new templates, new tooling for new package managers when new things spring up every 6 months and they're the new hotness. Sorry, it's a waste of our time to keep chasing that functionality. It is. Yep, Yarn was a proxy to the NPM. It was a different front end, a different client. Pain in the neck. I believe all of the package manager clients, Kenso, actually have some sort of a local cache to make things faster. NuGet does it. Packet does it. I forget what Python's package manager is called. But yes, that does make things faster. There are local caches of these things, so it should improve. I believe NPM does have it now. I can find it on disk. Anyways, the point is, when you look at all of this, how do we improve this? How can we make this a better experience? Because even when you do get these things, they come down and they sit inside of the node modules folder. There's node modules. And you really want to deploy all of these files, everything that... Yes, Kenso, that was a little bit... You might not have been on when I was saying that earlier. NPM has learned from some of the advances that Yarn made, and they've improved their technology now. But when you go and deploy your application, do you really want to carry everything that comes inside this folder? Do I really need to deploy the author's text and the Bower JSON and the README Markdown and the source, right? Do I really want to deploy all of that when I go and build my ASP.NET application? When I build my web application, what I really want is just some of these files. So what libman attempts to do is, I don't have a lib file here yet. Let's see. I believe I need to add a file in order to trigger it. So it's actually changed a couple times since I last worked with this. It is... I forget the name of the file to get it started. Now Ken, so now you're getting into you're getting into some dangerous territory. That's what Webpack does. But Webpack, folks who use Angular now, they step away from Webpack and they want to use the Angular command line, which has a bit of Webpack built into it, and it's enhanced and it's different. So now do I use Webpack or do I use the Angular command line? And folks who use Vue, they've got their own command line that does their own thing, and it's a pain in the neck because now you're chasing different tools for different frameworks to do the exact same thing everywhere. Right-click project. I did that. Let's see. There it is. Manage client-side libraries. Oh yeah, the JavaScript ecosystem is crazy. It absolutely is crazy. There's a big difference between branch dev and master and projects and ratings. How would you like to synchronize all of them before you start the changes? Yes, absolutely. We need to resolve that, Evandro. Let's take a look at that after we get through talking about libman here. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open a notepad over here. We're going to talk about libman. We're going to finish the pull request for core wiki. And then let's merge branches. Let's do dev into master. I'm not done with the project yet, so I won't merge that yet. Yeah, the JavaScript ecosystem, Kenso, is a little bit crazy. It moves very, very fast. And for a tool vendor that's trying to support enterprise customers who don't want the speed of that, there are customers who can't move that fast. You do end up with, as Welsh Ronaldo is saying, fragmentation joy. In the development environment, I've been using npm plus static files plus bundles. Is libman similar? Is that Katrina me? Libman is a little bit similar. So the idea with libman is you have a provider, and there's two providers right now, CDN.js, and there's also the file system. So I can get things off the local file system and move them around if you'd like. I'm going to start with CDN.js and show you what this does. And I can reference and say, well, here are the libraries that I want to go find. So let's bring in, I start like that. And then I'm going to specify what's the library that I want. You see it's in bold because it's required. And now I can choose one of the libraries that's on CDN.js to include. So let's start off by bringing in Jquery. Simple, it's easy, and you see it defaults to giving me a version number there. I can, of course, change that and grab a different version number if I'd like. Let's stick with 331 because that's nice. And now I can specify, well, what destination? Where do you want this to actually land inside of your project? So I could say destination, and let's go to root lib, and let's say Jquery, let's call it CDN, just so it looks different and you can see where it lands. And now let's specify the files that I want to bring in, and now I see here's all the files that are in the dist folder, and I can now pick and choose exactly where I want it to land. So I can go grab just that JS-min file that I need and bring that along. And when I save this, yes, turn those back into tabs, and I only want my normal tabs. If I take a look in root lib, and we'll see this run in just a second, library restore was unsuccessful. Really? Version is not supported by this version of library manager. I don't have that version number. Do it again. Where is it? Manage client-side libraries. I should be able to get it to do the build on the fly here, right? Version 1.0. That's probably what I was missing. There it goes. Jquery CDN, and there's my Jquery min. All right. So it's appearing, right? I got my stuff downloaded and loaded up for me, and there's the file, just the file that I need. I don't have to deal with chasing NPM versions. I don't have to worry about chasing yarn in different clients. This is going to be integrated with our tooling. It has nice tooling here inside of Visual Studio, and I can pull stuff down from CDN.js without much of a problem. But Jeff, I'm already doing things to bundle and ship things like Moment by reaching into npm.js and bringing that down and moving it over here. You can still do that. Nothing says that you have to get rid of NPM. We still have great support for NPM out here, but what if we did something like this? Right, let's change our provider, and let's say pull this from the file system. And this time, let's specify my library is coming out of Node modules. And I can go grab Moment. Let's grab those minified versions. And let's just grab Moment min. Right? I'm literally grabbing just that file. And I'll tell it the destination, and I'll say, you know what? Go into root lib. There it is. And let's create Moment CDN. Save that. And now it's placed my files appropriately over here. Maybe I don't want to go down all the way into those minified ones. I can actually yank this, okay? And I can tell it exactly where to start. And I can still say files. And now I see the list of files. And I can choose just those files that I want, right? Come on, give me, there we go. Sure. Save. And it updates, and come on. Oh, I have to put the square bracket on the end. Save, and it writes all my files over there. So you can continue to use NPM, Yarn, whatever you'd like. But what you're getting now is all of the things that Webpack was doing kind of go away. You're getting the movement of things a lot simpler and easier here to see. This is where I'm reaching out to. This is what I'm grabbing. Put it in this place. Done. Now, as of right now, this is a 1.0 release, and they're building additional providers if there's a demand for it. And there has been a request submitted. You can see out on the GitHub repository, there is a request to have a provider for NPM. That sounds... We've already got great IntelliSense for working with NPM. That sounds like a good request. I'm not on the project team. If it were up to me, I think they would consider it. So this is still in the preview version of Visual Studio, but I hope you take a look at what it delivers. What does it look like in Vue? Katrina, can you, and please correct me if I'm wrong if it's not Katrina, but Katrina, can you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for? What do you mean in Vue? I didn't want to do that. Let me know. I'll be happy to demo whatever you'd like here. But the idea is we're simplifying. We're making an open source tool available to everybody who wants to do this integration and get, I think, longer term support is really where the team is thinking. In layout, where you include your JS files, I usually bundle into one site JS. Terrific. Great point, Katrina. So these files coming down, I don't necessarily have to put it directly in my lib folder. I can still use the bundler to minify, to grab those various input files that I need and minify them together. So I believe it was Smab did this, put together, very long minify file here, bundle config file, just to do the migration back and forth of these files. Well, if I use the combination of libman and bundle config, I can have libman go get these files appropriately, and then I can use bundle config to do the minify, to do the other operations that I would like. So it ends up being two tools and working very nicely for me together. Stream tools getting the chat widget would be good. So I am using the chat widget here in the user interface, Janescu. Would Visual Studio be able to support libman with a GUI similar to NuGet? Magnus, you're reading my mind. We actually had... Let me save this. We actually had a package manager user interface that was... no, I don't want to go over there. GitHub.com, Mads Christensen. Make sure I spell it right. Right, is that his GitHub? Yeah. All right. And Mads has a ton of repositories over here. Really cool stuff. And it was originally called... I think it was called Pac-Man? I don't see it. Package installer. Is this the one I'm thinking of? Quick install package. This was where he was tinkering with the user interface. So you could choose the package manager you wanted to grab from, and you can add these immediately into your project. Figures that Mads made an extension. Actually, it was Standby Reloading. It was Mads' original idea. So, right, the idea here is we want to allow you to compose and build the different things that you want to be able to use. We want to give you rich tooling that we'll be able to support and keep up with for years ahead, because chasing the features in NPM and Yarn and whatever the next thing is that comes along it's difficult, and it feels like a waste of resources when folks abandon things so quickly. And please remember, we built Grunt, Gulp, NPM capabilities into the where is it? Task Runner Explorer, right? View, other windows, Task Runner Explorer, and there it is. And this will run with Webpack tasks. So it's there's extensions are the way that we want to continue to grow this, but when we spend a lot of time building an extension, that folks they don't abandon the extension, they abandon the technologies behind the extension within 3 to 6 months. It feels bad for us and for our team. We're disappointed, and it's not that our tooling was wrong. It's that somebody said, I found something cooler. I built something better. And they go over there. Mads is an extension Jedi master. Actually, Mads is now head of all extensibility for Visual Studio. He got a little bit of a promotion there. Big congratulations to our friend Mads Christensen, because he's doing some very cool things to make our what's the word I'm looking for? Extensions community better. His lightsaber is the purple of the VS logo. I think we need to pass that along. Is he Danish? Yes. I'm 90% positive Mads Christensen is Danish. Yes. All right. So there's a little bit about libman. I'm actually going to remove, and this is completely optional. It's another JSON file that sits out here. If you don't have the tools, and if you don't have it here, Visual Studio doesn't complain, and you can delete it, and Visual Studio is none the wiser and doesn't get upset about it. All right. So nice tool. I think you're going to hear more about it at Build. Because I know the content that's coming at Build. All right. I'm keeping a close eye on my time, because when we end today, I'm literally throwing my laptops in a bag and heading out. Got to get a haircut. Got to get to the airport. So I hope you like the God of Thunder hat. This is one of my favorites. I'm not thrilled with the flat brims, but I do like that God of Thunder logo. That is fancy. And now I've actually got people at conferences saying, "What hat are you going to wear this time?" Or, hey, if we make a hat, will you wear it for us? I'm like, let me know. So that was libman. Let's go over and take a look at the last pull request that I want to dig into here is, add search-friendly URLs. Now, this is from Just Call Me AD. All right, this is from AD. AD says, use Stack Overflow's friendly URL code to create unique URLs for each article. Both the create and edit views check if the slug already exists in the database. Uses the article's topic to create the URLs and throws a modal validation error if the URL already exists. I like the sound of that last one. I like throwing an error without navigating away from the page. I realize this comes from Stack Overflow, but a couple things about the URL helpers class. And I appreciate Simon taking a look here and doing a little bit of triaging. In chat widget, the mod sword comes second, as in the chat, it's first. Is it? You're right. We'll have to get on those Streamlabs, folks. Hey, your free tool isn't ordered the right way. Let's see. You can remove the first few clicks by calling to lower variant before iterating over it. Avoids the character inspection, which I really hate. Why use a tricky way when you have a legitimate way? So I've already taken a look at this a little bit, but I can't agree with Simon more. A regular expression may be a more readable way for checking for the allowable separators to be replaced. Yes. I think string normalize is generally used to remove accents from a string, but I have limited experience with it. I found a good article at Stack Overflow. Cool. I'm going to take a look at this, but I'm not going to merge it yet. Magnus asks, regarding those JSON files you mentioned that they just sit there, one of those that you have is compiler config, which I believe comes from the web compiler extension. Does Visual Studio ignore those files when that extension is not installed, or how does that process work? Let's flip back to the code. Compiler config. Shoot, where does this file come from? I can't remember. Yeah, this is doing a little bit of the compiler. The badge comes somehow first in the chat widget. Right. Oh, standby reloading. I am a big fan of regular expressions. I think everybody should learn a little bit of regular expressions. You don't have to become, dare I say, Jedi Masters. But, yeah, it's good to know just enough to be dangerous. Yeah, that's for the less to CSS compilation, right? Read in this file, output that file. And doing the same thing to get the ES5 versions. And this is using web compiler. What I'd really like to do and that's SAS to CSS. What I'd really like to do instead is use TypeScript to do that. Particularly these ones. But I'm okay with that. If Visual Studio doesn't have the extension in there, yes, it will ignore it. All right. So let's wander back over here. I want to just take a look at some of the files here. So there's a URL helpers here, and this is the bit that I saw and thought, oh my gosh, this is a regular expression. And it's inspecting every character of the string with a for loop. And it's converting to lowercase, and it's looking to create the dashes between words, right? So when we have wiki article names are typically Pascal cased, right? Starts with a capital letter. The rest of the letters of the word are lowercase. The next word starts with a capital letter. Rest of the letters in the word are lowercase. That's called Pascal casing. And our wiki articles should adhere to that. And when they get presented, let's create a space between those words. And we know where the word boundaries are because each word starts with a capital letter. And that's what AD is doing here, but doing with a for loop. That's a lot. That's a lot of work to go through just to insert a dash. And I agree with Simon. We can do this with a regular expression and make it a little bit easier. And I really appreciate the international character inspection and converting some of these international characters to an ASCII character. I'm okay with that. Once again, something that we can do with a regular expression. Seeing a giant else if like this gives me the heebie-jeebies. I think there's things that you can do. And is heebie-jeebies, is that something that folks everywhere know? Or is that just a Philly thing? Do you guys know what heebie-jeebies is? Let me know. There are times when I think it makes things easier to read, other times definitely not. Now, my concern is there's a processing concern here where we're doing a for loop that we can simplify by turning into a regular expression to find those edges in words and do a quick replace. But this, I think we can turn into either a lookup or we can either turn into a lookup or this is a maintenance nightmare waiting to happen. Why remove accents? I need them. So Evandro, you're right. Folks in other languages do need that, particularly Brazilian Portuguese there. You're right. This is for the slug. This is for putting on the URL. It's not for changing the title in particular. Now, this is where I have a little bit of a difference in design strategy. AD decided to add a default ID property here, right? This is called, this is in database terms, this key is called it's an implicit key, but it's not actually data type that we're going to use anywhere in our system, because really folks are searching for and looking up by the topic. And that's why the topic was originally marked as a key. How would you handle one title with accent and one without? Very good point, Magnus. So that's why I'm not sold on some of the decisions in here. I think we need to discuss this a little bit. This wasn't something that I had an issue created for. And I'm looking at some of the things that are going on in here, and I have a difference of opinion, and I'd like to discuss a little bit further before we accept this. Smab says the internationalization is what the normalize and Unicode checks are used for. Heebie-jeebies is technical speak for this feels bad. Yeah, there you go. So I'm not married to what's going on here. I don't like having an extra field in my database just for the purposes of having a field. Topic, I think, as a key that's required and unique is enough for me here. Scrolling down a little bit further, create. So create now is checking and building the slug article, the slug item here. Like I said, not sold on it. Turn off my ringer on my phone. Goodbye, go away. And so I like the idea of having a URL slug, but I'm not sold on it. And the other thing that I'm seeing here is, topic is what we're searching against, and in the definition here, first off, I'm not thrilled that you changed my initial create. If you're going to change the database structure, we need to create a new migration, not replace the initial one that's already there. But we need to create some indexes here. We're always going to be searching on topic. Maybe we're searching on slug. We need to have indexes on these. So we need to come back and address that. In fact, I'm not going to accept this, only be this commit, because, like I said, I think we can do some fixes here. I would rather not loop through a string, but rather use a regular expression to inspect and insert spaces or hyphens appropriately. Okay. And then do we really want to remove the international characters? All right. How would you handle the scenario where the topic title is updated? Would you update the slug too, or keep the slug the same? Also, if you do update the slug, people that had it bookmarked will get a 404. These are very good points, Jay. And I think you're starting to tiptoe into a need to create 304s. HTTP 304 is a redirect. You have 304 and 301. One of them is permanent, one of them is temporary. I forget which one is which. But we're going to want to create redirects from one article to the next to send people around when they do have something bookmarked. You've got a very good point there. Let's not update the migration directly, but instead create a new migration that updates the existing database. All right. Topic and slug should be indexed to allow for faster searching. Also, we should mark these fields as unique, right? Down the rabbit hole we go. Yes. I think typically the slug stays the same, at least for blogging. This means keeping a historical list of topics. Yes. Yes, and you see that actually on Wikipedia because people have things bookmarked and you want them to be able to get around. Why do we need an ID field? This feels unnecessary. I can spell unnecessary. Moving along. See, now we're outputting the article ID here. Not a fan of that. So I'm not, these are mostly rewrites here, and then there's going to the item slug in the URL. So there's work to be done here. So I'm not going to accept it right now. I think we have a good discussion going with AD. Let's talk about what we can do to improve this before we go and accept it into the project. So let's take a look now at issues. All right. Let's see. So support wiki text. So UTC timestamps are not being replaced in Edge. Everybody uses Edge. And then DevOps challenge has internationalization here. Let's look at this one first. Make content localizable, labels, data annotations, model state errors. This is a great point. This is a very good point here. I think that's Avandro that opened this, right? That's right. This is your GitHub account. Implement a strategy to select the language culture for each request. Very good point. This is a very good point, and we should start this as a future project. We definitely want to do this. This I'm going to mark as an enhancement. I will put help wanted on the project because when it comes to localizing some of these fields, and particularly Avandro calling out that Brazilian Portuguese, absolutely, right? And my friends in Quebec who may want Canadian French, folks in America who want American English, because we say funny things here in the States. We're going to want different localizable things there. This is a very good topic that we do need to come back to. In fact, I'm just going to start a project for it and put it on there. Internationalization, localization. The wiki should be able to be localized for various languages, date formats, etc. Template. Yes, we're going to want a Kanban. What's automated? Create a board with triggers to automatically move cards across to do, in progress, and done. Sure. We'll create that. Yeah, I don't care about this. Delete that note. Go away. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye. Thank you. I know it will be. Goodbye. Delete that one. Right? Automatically move cards to the right place based on the status and activity. How's it do that? Projects, manage automation, drop down an automation preset, select the workflow automations. In the column you want to automate. All right. So let's do that. I'm going to go here. Manage automation. Move all newly added issues and pull requests here. I don't want to move all of them. All right. In progress. Manage automation. Move all reopened issues here. Okay. Sure. Done. What's that one do? Move all closed issues here. Move all merged pull request. Move all closed unmerged pull request. Yeah, that's good. All right. So you can go away. Yep. This one. So we'll just put that in our to-do. I'm going to add this over here because I think this is very much in the same thing. And this issue, let's mark this as a bug. Yep. All right. There we go. Looking. Anything else here that we need to address as part of this? Nope. All right. So I want to take a look at that UTC timestamps. Let's just take a quick look at this, see if it's something that we can address. Buoyant Air asks, what am I working on? This is a wiki that we're building with ASP.NET Core so that it will work on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Can be hosted inside of a Docker container. But it shows a bunch of the simple concepts that you need to be a good ASP.NET developer. Dragons 007. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I think you've got the cool new avatar of the day there. That's a great nick. Dragons 007. Yeah, the stupid bot isn't responding. It again. I'm gonna have to come back to that. All right. So where was I? So I'm not merging that other one. Oh, I wanted to take a look at why in Edge it's not formatting properly. So let's change my web browser to Edge. And we'll start this. Nice. Oh, I'm glad you approved, Buoyant Air. I'm trying to keep this wiki project, like I said, simple so folks can learn. And of course, I want to make sure I describe things in a way that it's easy for new folks to join in. All right. Let's take a look here. So new art, well, there you go, right there. It's not reformatting. Check that out. If I just go right to the root, that's not reformatting properly. You're welcome, Dragons. Glad you could join us. Oh my gosh, Baron Bad BVR. Welcome, Baron. And thanks so much for the subscription. We will, of course, match that subscription. That'll be another donation to our friends at Girl Develop It. They're a non-profit organization that's helping women, ladies, young girls learn how to write code so they can advance their careers, get into the technical field. That's something that I feel strongly about, that folks that are learning and want to get involved with technology should be able to do so without a huge hurdle. Yes, and for subscribing, you get the C# bot emote here on Twitch. We'll definitely check it out when I learn C#. I actually have a request to do an 8-hour C# workshop. And I think that's a really good idea. I may do that in either middle of May or June. And just go through and teach all the different things about C# in a day. Bring in some of my friends that are experts on that. Maybe even some of the folks that helped build the C# language. We'll take a look. Object doesn't support property or method symbol iterator. You know what? That's really small. Edge, can we make that font bigger? Edge. I'd like to make this font bigger. Hello? Edge. Is there a way to make the font bigger? You're going to send me way over here. Really? Really? Can it just... That's better. There we go. Now we can see it. The server has not found anything matching requested. Okay, so that's browser link. That's fine. I'm not worried about that. But in site.js... Right? Get document elements by class. Get elements by class name. You're telling me you can't do that? Oh, Edge. What have you done? Now it found that. Moving on. So if we use... Right? If I do that, yeah, and I take a look at timestamps, I've got that. So if I say for var ts of timestamps, nope, wrong brackets. console.log. Hi. I don't care. Just write it on the screen. Now, all right, so soon Core Wiki will have a Kanban board. Yeah. Buoyant Air says that would be amazeballs. I'm glad you approve. So let's take a look. Maybe we can do that. Eight-hour. Maybe it's not 8 hour. Maybe we just call it or long form C# workshop. I think that might be good. Marius Ballot says, why not use query selector? I think you might be on the right path here. Let's change timestamps. Let's put my cursor back in Edge. So if we say timestamps equals document dot, let me scroll that up because it's hiding behind me. And nobody likes it when their code's hiding behind Jeff. All right, here we go. We're over here. Timestamp equals document dot. Right, so I did get element by class name. But if I do query selector, right, I mean, I can do dot timestamp value. And all right, I get the collection of, well, I only get the first timestamp. See that? I want to get, right? Shouldn't I get all of them? Why not just use Jquery? No. Oh, that's a good idea, Janescu. Just put it on the side. Well, if I undock, right? I can only dock it on one direction here, but you're right. I could just move it over here, do a thing like that. If I do query selector, will query selector give me all of them? So let's do the same thing here. It only gave me the first one, right? Or is it query selector? Isn't there a query selector? Yeah, all. And now I get the node list and I get 5 of them. But I'm still going to run into that same problem, right? Right, I still run into, if I do my for loop to go across it, right? Oh, hello. Well, crap, that makes a hell of a lot of sense then. I think we've done it, friends. Okay, so let's change this to query selector all. Now, why is that different? And now it works. What about older browser support? I don't care about older browsers. Truth be told, because of our friends, I know what they are, Spectre and Meltdown, everybody had to update their browsers. So who cares? I'm confused. What are you trying to do? Oh, Jay, I have a very simple script here that goes through and reformats the time based on the time zone of the browser. So if you watch the screen, you'll see it changes it from the UTC time zone that's being output over to the, in my case, Eastern time zone. So it's just doing a quick for loop to go and replace those. Looks like it's working fine here in Edge. Let's try doing it in Chrome because everybody uses Chrome. Chrome's like, what is it, 56% of the market right now? And it looks pretty good there too. All the browsers support query selector all. There you go. All right. Is that Cthulhu'nux? What do I think about PHP? PHP is pretty good. It's a pretty good web development framework. Folks at Facebook really like it. Folks at Etsy love it. WordPress uses it all over the place. My problem with PHP is it's the interpretation of it makes it very susceptible to injection, to a number of security issues. So even Facebook has taken steps to compile their PHP. Folks like the Peach Pie project. Have you seen Peach Pie? Let's open this. I think it's that. No. Peach Pie project. Actually compile PHP code to .NET, and you can host your PHP project inside of a .NET compiled runtime. This way you get all the great security and compiled benefits from .NET, and you still get the great flexibility and all the tools that you're used to using with PHP. In fact, the folks here at Peach Pie have actually gone so far as to take their blog that runs WordPress, and it's compiled their WordPress instance here so that this is actually running on .NET. So you can check out their project and see how it compiles. It works great there. Is that Napster? Napster says PHP suffers from its age. There's so many bad old tutorials out there. Yeah, there's something to be said for aged technologies and tutorials out there. But they should be upgraded, right? If there's a vibrant community around it, there should definitely be a market for updating and making those things great. And I think the folks at Facebook definitely have a vested interest in making sure there's an army of PHP developers out there, because then they can recruit from them. Marius Ballot, thank you for the follow. I want to make sure I reference that.
3 months and loving it.
Thank you, Standby Reloading. I appreciate the resubscription. Enjoy the emote, and of course, that'll be another donation to our friends at Girl Develop It. That's fantastic. Thank you. Seems like in the new version of Edge, what I have, you can put dev tools to the side or bottom. You're probably right, Janescu. I'm not using. I'm not. This machine that I'm using for demonstration, I don't have on any of the insider rings, so I don't have the new features yet. And I've done that purposely because I've run into issues where I was taking the latest builds of Windows and it broke Docker frequently. So, all right. So we've got Edge fixed here. This is issue number 40, so let's make sure we check that in and get that fixed. I want to check that into the dev branch, actually. Let's see. Git status. Just my site min. So I'm going to check out my dev branch, switch over there. I'll do the commit here. Fixed 40, right? Is that the right one? Yep. Now using query selector all to identify all time elements. There we go. Let's push that. Oh, you stink. No, spell it right, Jeff. There we go. And now I should be able to push. Waiting. Come on, GitHub. There we go. And now let me go back into my project folder. And I will merge back down those changes from dev. Looks good. I'll push that back up so that everybody who's following along with the project gets those changes and they can work with it. Avandro says, I think that changing the key from topic to ID is required. Do tell. Topic is not a good foreign key to related tables, for example, article comments. Why do you think that? Consider, each character in a string field is how many bytes, right? Each character, if it's Unicode, it's 2 bytes, right? If it's ASCII, if it's using our 1 byte character sets, it's 1 byte. If you're using a number and you're using an integer, great, that integer is it's how many bytes, right? So what? I'm not hurting for space. I'm not fighting for space. So I don't think surrogate key, that's the term I'm looking for. I don't think I need a surrogate key. And I'm okay with article comments then referencing the topic directly. I think that actually works out kind of okay. Let me know. I mean, I'd love to get some database. Yeah, integers 4 bytes. There we go. Janescu says we are close to Redstone 4 to be ready to ship, but I have Docker, the edge stuff on one machine and stable on another. Yes, that's what I'm running into. Sequel Mr. Magoo says, suppose you made a typo in the topic and want to fix that. Cascade updates to related tables. Yes, absolutely. You can do that. There are database solutions for these things. Nothing says that every key has to be an integer or a GUID. So, yes, I see some of my CDA friends are they're responding to my tweets, but they're not responding to my tweets about the stream. Interesting. Is that AJ Ukraine? Welcome, AJ. Great to meet you there in the chat room. Do I plan to stream some SOA stuff? So it's a very good question, and what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to have a minimum viable project that's simple, a good base point that all of our introductory and beginner developers can learn from, and then we can start to introduce and teach those architectures by saying, well, here's how our wiki stands. Now let's add in some of these service-oriented concepts, or let's introduce CQRS concepts, and we can do that. Jay asks, what does SOA mean? SOA is a acronym for service-oriented architecture, and what that means is it's a strategy where you separate out your application into several different services that collaborate together to deliver one application. I'm new to your Twitch channel and loving it so far, but are you a front, back, or full stack dev? And it's showing up as MF, but that looks like the French. Is that the French flag? Marius, I consider myself a full stack developer. Before I started at my previous employer was Telerik. They're now owned by Progress Software. Currently, I'm a program manager on the .NET team for Microsoft. You've probably worked with and seen some of the tools that I've contributed to. SOA is a term for what is called microservices now. Well played, AJ. Well played. Yes. Let me come back to that comment. But before I started working at Telerik, I worked for a .com company, and we built a web application, and I was very much a full stack developer. I would write front end user interface code. I wasn't a wizard with CSS, but I knew enough to be dangerous. I wrote enough JavaScript to be serviceable, but my front end web development skills with ASP.NET, and then building middleware to connect back to different services that would interact with the database, provide different interactions. I was pretty strong at that, if I do say so myself. If any of my former colleagues are there in the chat room, I'm sure they'll chime in and say, let you know what they think of how I code. So, there we go. All right. Moving on. So AJ Ukraine says SOA is a term for what is called microservices. So what AJ, I'm assuming AJ's a he, but I'm not going to make that assumption. So what AJ is suggesting is AJ could be a lady. Ashley Jane, I don't know, but folks who build microservices now, it's the exact same strategy where you have lots of little services that do little things that are scattered throughout your production web farm, your production space, various machines that it will connect to and just interact, and those do little things. Okay, AJ is a guy. Thank you for clearing that up. I don't want to offend any ladies that may be watching, of course, or guys as well. So, um, so, I want to take a look now at some of the things in our stream tools. I've got about another half hour till I need to get running here. So we have a couple of pull requests that I want to take a look at. Now, Stream Tools, this is a project that also uses ASP.NET Core, and I use it to generate a couple of the widgets you see here in the video. Particularly, you see up here the follower goal. This is actually an ASP.NET web page that's connecting out to the Twitch APIs and refreshing and placing the current number of followers there inside the bar appropriately. And then also the viewer count that you see above the chat, that's being generated as well. Cthulhu, do you like to code with this elevator background music, or is it just for the stream? So this is called music to code by. So this is jazzy, groovy music, and I have about 12 or 14 different songs that I use. These are engineered at a pace to get you focused on your code. And the song that I'm playing today, and I'll be happy to change to a different song, this is called Purple from our friend Carl Franklin. But it's scientifically engineered to make you focus a little bit. So if you go out to mtcb.pwop.com, you could see him tell the story of exactly how this is engineered, and you can see some of the media coverage he's gotten about this. So, yeah, there's some free clips here that you can download and listen to that are a couple minutes long. I enjoy it. This isn't my favorite one. I believe this one's my favorite. This one's called Indigo. C17 says, I go with Gregorian chants. Whatever works for you. This is what I enjoy. I hope you enjoy it. And I want to make sure that our friend Carl gets a little bit of a boost. A little bit of a bump on his project here. Jay asks, what is it being used to show that bar like that? If it is a web page, how come I don't see browser buttons surrounding it? So when I broadcast the stream here, I use a tool called OBS, and if you go to my blog at live.jeffreyfritz.com, this has everything about the live stream right here. I need to get rid of that link and need to get rid of the Mixer stuff over here, and you can see the playlist, including when our friend Fierce Kittens joined us on Tuesday night. But I've also got some information about how I have my stream set up. If you follow this along, you see here's all the different gear that I use. My microphone, there you go. Camera, hardware, power that I use. Software, I use OBS. And I use widgets. OBS will embed these widgets directly into the user interface for me. Fossils asks, I haven't been around for several streams. What happened to Mixer? Fossils, I've dropped Mixer. I used to syndicate to both Mixer and Twitch. I've been trying to get some additional features lit up from Mixer. I've requested some assistance from their folks. I've requested some support from their folks, some additional reports, so I can learn what folks like, what folks don't like on stream. And they haven't been able to support those requests. I've received some additional requests for capabilities on Twitch. So I've shifted over and now I'm broadcasting only on Twitch. I stopped broadcasting on Mixer on Tuesday. Saturday over the weekend was the last stream that I broadcast on Mixer. There was like 5 watchers in Mixer. Yeah, that's another thing. The number of folks on Mixer was like 10% of the folks on Twitch. It wasn't worth a lot of the extra work that I was putting in to do that. Napster, yes, Napster, you're correct. OBS uses, I believe it is Chromium and the embedded framework to render the web views. Those widgets are, in fact, entire browsers here. So when you look around the video, the The bar here, that's a widget. That's a browser. Of course, the viewers is a browser. The chat here is another browser, and the what you're seeing over here, the event list, that's another browser. And then when Steve pops up, that's another browser. I'm planning to see if it can handle WebGL instances soon. That would be very cool. I haven't done any work with WebGL, but WebGL is a way for you to program and get higher-end graphics and graphic interactions directly in the browser. My concern with WebGL is, given how dedicated the browser developers are to managing your memory appropriately when you're using their browser. And I say that very tongue-in-cheek. Why am I not getting my... Hello? I would like to see Task Manager, please. Task Manager. When you look at... I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs open, and it's using 3/4 of a gig of memory. And there's 6 instances of Firefox, one for each one of these pages. Am I really loading 172 meg of content on these pages? Right, I close one, and I'm still... I mean, really? What the heck is it doing? So I'm concerned. Compiling shaders is still a massive red flag at the moment. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's take a look at some of these issues here. Pull requests that were open. Oh, that's a good question, Cthulhu X. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Talking about performance, what do you think about Electron? Electron is a tool that you can use to wrap the Chromium browser, right? Chromium is the open source version of Chrome. Google wraps that up, puts some of their widgets and things on it, and they call it Google Chrome. But Chromium is the open source project. Electron is a wrapper around that allows you to build text editors, allows you to build other applications. It's nice. The problem that I have with Electron, the concern that I have with Electron, it's very fast. It's great to be able to build applications with HTML, with TypeScript, and we do that. That's what Visual Studio Code is. The concern that I have is that folks that do build those applications, you need to maintain your browser that underlays that. So if you're not regularly updating that Chromium dependency and pushing out new versions, you may have a security issue in your applications lingering out there. So that's not a knock on the Electron applications, but on the folks that are doing that app development, they need to be responsible and update their dependencies on a regular basis for performance improvements, security fixes, and other just general fixes. So it's something that needs to be addressed. Task Manager takes so long to open, fix it. I can't disagree with that. Process Explorer is king. It is nice. Our friend, oh my gosh, our friend from, I can't remember. Electron is a 2018 virus. Our friend Mark Rasinovich wrote Process Explorer. A great application. It's a better task manager. Some folks actually you can. There's a setting in Process Manager. You can set that to replace Task Manager in Windows for you. The days of desktop apps are just using Electron.js, and that means Chrome RAM killer multiplied by the number of Electron apps. I can't agree with you more, Buoyant Air. I have some friends that I've spoken to on the Windows team definitely feel that way. WSL gets better and better. It does. Slack, Twitch, Gitter, yep, those are all Electron apps. Electron allows you to build apps crazy fast, but it's such a horrible solution. Mark Rasinovich, yes. I'm not sure what I would code with him on stream. Not sure about that. Let's take a look at some of the pull requests. So iPartington has a pull request here called FritzBot Tests. Let's take a look at this. An initial start on building a test suite of tests for FritzBot. Command sent too fast and ignores. L30T3K, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room. Future plans to mock out IO-based commands. Interesting. Okay. Um, let's take a quick look here. 2 files. When chat message sent, and it's running through and doing some tests. Okay, and what's the second file? When initialized. All right. I heard Joban is awesome. He is. He's great. John is amazing here. I switched from Manjaro to Linux for WSL and Visual Studio. There you go. All right. Let's see. Yikes. Make him analyze your bot stop bug. That's not a bad idea. Oh, thanks for the follow, Cthulhu. I appreciate that. And I'm not seeing this number increase. It's cold, so let's light a fire. Thank you for the follow. There's another leader on the cool avatar of the day. I don't know about WSL updates to run daemons. Nilk Narf. I'm sorry, I don't know the. I only speak English here. You can adopt the spec flow with Selenium for the test to automate the functional tests. I don't know if I need Selenium, because this is reaching out and bouncing off of an IRC chat service. So what we might be able to do is mock out the chat service and throw chat messages at the bot and have it respond. 98 codes. Thank you for the follow. I need to restart that chat bot. It is not responding properly at all. So I'm just going to run over there and kick it real quick. Stand by. 5 Charlie. What? Why is this? Ah, there we go. Docker RM Charlie. All right. Yeah, my follower count isn't updating at all. Let's see what we can do there to get that follower count refreshed. There it goes. That's a lot better. I just noticed this. The colors of the usernames in the stream tool don't match the colors in Twitch chat. Oh, that stinks. Way to go there, Streamlabs. I finally found a project to try span of T in .NET Core 2.1. I created a JSON RPC library. Oh, that'd be cool. Our friend Bill Wagner, he's been with us a couple times here on stream, has suggested that we need to really dig into span of T, and I may do that. Banifus says, have you tried running the bot in a Windows container? That's a great idea. I like that idea a lot, and then I can eliminate my Linux dependency as a source of possible problems. That's a really good idea, Banifus. So let's merge these unit tests and take a look at what this gives us. I've got about 15 minutes before I gotta run and catch my flight. Let me go over to the conversation tab so I can grab that comment out. So Ian's got a good start here. Let's do this. Command line instructions. I'm going to copy that. Excuse me. Let's go back up. Fritz, Stream Tools. Yep, still trying to fix that chat client. All right, here we go. And let's take a look at that project. No. All right. Let's go back over here. Stream Tools. There was Hyper-V and WSL demo on Windows Community Stand-Up with Kevin Gallo live this month. Actually, Kevin's going to be doing another thing here in the next few hours. I think he's on later today. All right. So let's see if those unit tests are running properly. I'm going to open Test Explorer. Look at how quickly it discovers those tests. That's really cool. And these tests were created in, there we go, under the chatbot. So test.chatbot. So here's some of the tests that are available now. Let's just run all of our tests and see what happens. These are unit tests. They're written inside of another .NET Core class library, and Visual Studio and other test runners out there know how to pick up and run these whenever we want, right? We can just request that they be run. Looks like I've got an error down here around getting stream data. Here we go. So it looks like my chatbot messages are tests are running properly. Not quite sure why that is failing. I'm going to guess because we have some awaits in here. Jay asks, that's it. Your mixer lib is in good lift, as I mentioned it in Gitter Mixer. Oh, cool. Hey, that's great, Janescu. He did a great job on that. What machine am I using? Your computer seems very fast at loading solutions. My Dell XPS 13 is slow. This is a Lenovo Yoga 910 Special Edition. It's locked down and tied in back there, but this is it's running with an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. Details about that machine are actually over here on livejeffreyfritz.com. Write its model name, please. Yeah, it is. Come on, Yoga 910S. So those aren't it. It was a special edition, a hybrid laptop you won't want. I disagree. But it was at Best Buy, and the folks, there you go. So that's how it looks normally. I don't need notifications from Laptop Magazine. Special edition. Lenovo Yoga 910. There we go. There you go. That's what mine looks like with a cool glass lid. Really looks nice. Check that out. And mine is actually, I have a serial number on mine. Mine is 1438 of 4000. I really like it a lot. But I think you can see over here. There we go. I've even got a link to it here. If you go through and you look for my live streaming setup, I have information about the exact configuration here with a link over to Lenovo's website, so you can learn more about it. Do you find writing scenario tests interesting in BDD? I do. I think that's a great idea. I haven't gotten there yet with some of these features, but I think there's definitely something to be said for those. My concern here is, if you take a look at this, send whisper async. This is, yeah, we're task waiting all. I mean, this sure looks like it's hanging, right? If I try and run it by itself, it runs, but it's not going to run. Yeah. I don't want to. So we've. All right, so we're waiting for it to start. Chat message arcs. We're raising it. Oh, we're expecting to see the. This feels like it's not very testable. It feels brittle. Same thing here. Now, first off, I'm annoyed with these. I think I have a real issue with those. I want to get rid of all the async in my code because, as you saw when I was working with kittens, it's a pain in the neck. So I think I'm going to merge this. Oops. Wow. It's like I've never typed before. Right, I pulled that down. So let's get this merge in. Right, so that should be copied. Let's do this. What? Copy. Merge. No. Copy. Copy to clipboard. Control V. And I'm getting just a plus coming back. That's annoying. There we go. All right. Your local changes, please commit your changes. All right, let's do this. Not something we can merge. Do tell. Let's do this. Git commit fixed error from throwing all the time. That's better. All right, now let's go back. But it's already here. Right? It was merged. Let's see here. It's fine. Merge it. Do it. And this should work, right? Here we go. Yeah, go away. Thanks for the contribution. All right. All right. So there's a GitHub command that was created. Simple command to return my GitHub repo, including a unit test. Fantastic. Just take a quick look at the files. GitHub command, GitHub outputs the URL and sends a message. Fantastic. That's easy. I'm sold. I like those. Thank you for the contribution. Awesome. All right. One more pull request. This one, who's this? Parathon. Anthony Conrad. Anthony, thank you for the contribution. I don't know if you've done this or not, but could you dedicate a little time to Git in your C# workshop? That's a great idea. I like that. All right, so here we go. With this merge, it's Fritzbot, Anthony, but that's okay. It's Fritzbot, but huge thanks for this. Let's take a look at how this was changed. So the problem is, and you haven't seen it only because the bot's not really working. There's a block in there somewhere. When it gets, let's see here. When it outputs the message back, where did it go? we're reformatting. Here we go. Add the question as part of the body. No, that's not it. Handle markdown links. Here we go. So it's looking for that link, and it's just replacing it. Oh, so it's... All right. It's reformatting it nicely. Let's take a quick look at... Yeah, let's do this merge. I'm fine with how that's there. Fantastic. So that merges into feature fritzlib, which is not where I'm working right now. Let's do a pull so we get the changes that were just merged. Cool. I'm going to push back up my changes. In Romanian, fits means something along the lines of fancy. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you for the tip there, Magnus. And Blame Mitch, thank you for the follow. Now, is that a reference to 1993 Phillies closing pitcher Mitch Williams? Blame Mitch because he gave up so many home runs? Let me know. I'm going to go back over to my Fritz spot, and I'm going to get rid of the... yeah. Let's merge the other one. Feature fritzlib. Let's push this. What? Fritz spot. There we go. No. All right. So I'm going to get rid of those extra... Oh no. What have I done? No! Oh no. Oh no. I've got two branches that have the same name. Oh, I feel shame. But I want the one with the capital. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Get rid of that one. I think I can get rid of this one. Not sure. All right. MagnusBot is named as FancyBot. Did you assume its gender? Ah, there you go. All right. Reload. Make sure all of our unit tests pass, and then I think I'll call it a day here. Yep, reload. Let's see. Come on. Oh, that doesn't look good. I don't like seeing error. Come on. You know you want to run. And Magnus, when you refer to fancy, I'm assuming just fancy, neat, interesting, fancy. And there were build errors. Yeah, it's because it's... looks good to me. This one down here is because I am streaming. So that's... we have the same mic setup. Hey, cool. All right, so I'm happy with that. Looks good. So I've pushed all my changes back up. We've closed out all of our pull requests over here. I think my next gap is I need to go back and look at the actual chatbot and remove all the async that's going on in there as well. Maybe you should update your .NET-based Linux image to the latest. Might also help with the bot stop bug. You're right. I'm actually saving that for Tuesday, when my guest will be Scott Hunter. He's the director of .NET at Microsoft, and I'll be broadcasting live from Microsoft Studios. See that, John? I turned that into a transition here. We're going to take a look at the new features in ASP.NET Core 2.1. We'll update a project to ASP.NET Core 2.1 Preview 2 and show you some of the performance capabilities, some of the new things that you can do in there. And it'll be a good time. We'll be live from Channel 9 Studios. Wizzy Kiz, welcome. Right as I'm signing out, I'm sorry to disappoint, but that's all the time I have for today. As always, I will archive off this video. You'll find it over on YouTube a little bit later today. I appreciate the time everybody spent with us here today, all the new follows, all of our new friends joining us. I appreciate all your feedback and help there in the chat room. All of you, I consider you pair programmers helping with these projects so that I learned something today about query selector all versus get elements by class name. So let's keep this up. I won't be running a stream on Saturday. I'll be traveling during our normal stream time, but I'll see you again on Tuesday live from Channel 9 Studios with my guest, Scott Hunter. Alrighty. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next time.